Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rahak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, the elder bishops, the great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, to the men on the highways and the byways that are pushing out this word in truth and sincerity, and to the remnant men, women, and children of the elect. To you all, I say shalom. My name is Ahmawan Ahyash, and I'm back with another lesson through the power and the spirit of Yahawashi. Lord willing, this is edifying. I just wanted to highlight something that is becoming more clear, more evident as this war with Iran is taking place. You know, there was a lot of people who expected for Iran to basically just lay down, surrender and allow this so-called regime change to happen, which is what the United States has been proclaiming for this entire time. That they are going in, sending these airstrikes, and they so-called have killed their leader, the Ayatollah, to set up regime change. And there's a lot of people who just expected for that to just happen after a few airstrikes and, from the United States and Iran. And what we're coming to see is that couldn't be further from the truth. Okay? Iran is not laying down. Iran has been responding viciously, actually. And the United States basically saying this war was never intended to have men or boots on the ground for this regime change to happen. But from all reports and everything that's happening, people are basically saying a regime change is impossible without boots on the ground. And there will be American casualties, military casualties. This is going to be a lot worse than people expected if they expect to have regime change, right? So, and what I want to highlight is that the United States and their bullying tactics, right? And that big bad wolf sort of reputation that they have. Listen, man, these nations aren't having it. Okay? These nations aren't having it. That's what I wanted to highlight in this lesson. This will be a quick lesson because I just got a couple of videos that I want to show to back up what I'm saying and to back up what I'm seeing. The response from Iran has been completely unexpected, and this war is going to drag out longer than what anyone expected. Okay? Now again, we've been saying that this is not, obviously this is, you can say World War III has started and not be wrong. But at the same time, you have to acknowledge that there's many other nations that will be involved in World War III that hasn't jumped into this particular war. And there's other prophecies like the mark of the beast to roll out. That mass implementation of the MOTB needs to happen first, Jacob's trouble. So we know there's other events that need to happen first. So, but what a lead up. What a lead up to the actual World War III. It's exciting for the elect. It's exciting for those who are looking for the end of this evil, wicked empire, this evil, wicked beast system. And yeah, so I just wanted to highlight that. I wanted to go into this article here from NBC News. It says, Iran is confident it could counter a U.S. ground invasion, foreign minister says. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi spoke from Tehran in an exclusive interview with NBC Nightly News anchor Tim Lamas. Okay? Now, I'm going to play the video. It says Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Thursday that his country is ready for ground invasion by American troops as the war launched by the United States and Israel has quickly spread across the region. He has refused any negotiation with the U.S. and said that Iran has not asked for a ceasefire. So he's basically saying, all right, y'all send missiles, y'all want smoke, y'all gonna get it. Okay? Because they're not gonna be bullied. Right? You're not just going to do what you did to Venezuela, snatch up their president and take our oil and do what you want and set up your own a leader. All right? A United States controlled leader. Okay? Iran is not going for it. All right? You know, these Iranians, man, you're going to have to completely annihilate them. Like, completely. To take over what's theirs. All right? They're not one for being bullied. You can't negotiate with them by just sending over a few missiles and acting like they're going to lay down. They're not built like that. All right? They'll fight to the very, very, very end. And this is what we're seeing. This is what we're going to see more of. All right? It says his comments came after the U.S. and Israeli militaries began a sweeping attack on Iran on Saturday, which decimated its military defenses and killed its top authority supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. All right? So let me play this. All right?
And I asked Iran's foreign minister about whether his country is prepared for a possible ground invasion from American troops. Watch this. President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
So you're saying that Iran is ready and willing to take on the U.S. military if there were to be ground troops?
Well, we were ready for this war even more than the previous war. So you can see, the quality of our missiles, how much they are upgraded after the last war, because we learned lots of lessons. And we are prepared for any other eventuality, even, a ground invasion. So our soldiers are prepared for any scenario. When I said that we are waiting for them, it didn't mean that we are waiting for continuation of the war. No, but we have prepared ourselves to confront with any scenario, with any eventuality, any possibility, and we know that we can handle that.
What I found interesting is that when the anchor asked him, are they ready? He was like, yeah. What the fuck? Of course. And the anchor was like surprised at his answer. Like, do you mean you're telling me that if the United States came with a ground attack, you guys are prepared? He's like, we've been preparing. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean about, that big bad wolf, that bullying spirit. Like, these countries are not going to lay down. Okay? When they attack, when initially last Saturday, when the United States and Israel attacked and sent those military strikes, Iran responded immediately. Okay? Let me get this real quick. This is going back to last Saturday. All right, and it was a live update. Back last Saturday. Okay? And this is a part of the the beginning, okay, of what we'll see later when all of these nations get involved in World War III. Okay? It says here, IDF says 200 jets involved in Air Force's largest ever attack. Okay, so this is not just some small war that means nothing. It'll be over in a couple days, and because that's how it was initially presented. They're gonna go in, they're gonna get rid of the Supreme Ayatollah and implement a new leader, have regime change, and basically for the sake of Israel having control of that entire region, because that's what they want. That's what they want. All right, they want control of that entire region, not just the land of Israel. It says IDF says 200 jets involved in Air Force's largest ever attack, sortie. With some 200 fighter jets, the Israeli Air Force has carried out its largest ever strike sortie in Iran today. The extensive strikes targeted Iranian ballistic missiles launchers and air defense systems, according to the military. The IDF says the fighter jets dropped hundreds of munitions on some 500 Iranian targets in western and central Iran nearly simultaneously in the morning hours as part of the sortie. Okay, so that's just an idea. I just wanted to bring that up because this ain't just going some overnight fly by night and then it's over type of attacks. This is gonna have a massive impact on what's to come. And then let me see. I got one more video I wanted to show. Actually, let me go with this one because I found this interesting. I found this very interesting. This lady, Yvette Cooper, I believe she's from the UK. And if you even just read what it says here, it says Yvette Cooper says it's appalling. It's appalling. An interesting choice of words. It's appalling that Iran has retaliated to being attacked, and she calls on them to stop retaliating. It's like how nonsensical are some of these people? You mean to tell me you gonna kill our Supreme Ayatollah? You're gonna attack, and expect us to not have any response? Listen to what she says.
It has been just truly appalling the way in which the Iranian regime, a regime which we know has brutally killed tens of thousands of its own people and has now been targeting with these missiles and drones countries that were not involved in striking Iran, but they have been targeted now by the Iranian regime. It is a significant sign of quite how dangerous this Iranian regime is, and we would continually urge the Iranian regime to stop these strikes on our partner countries in the region so that people who had nothing to do with any of this, British citizens, can be returned safely home. It has been...
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about war. You can't start a war and then be mad at the response. Right? That's like if somebody comes up to you and slaps you in the face or punches you in the face, right? And you get mad that they pull out a knife and stab you. It's not how that works. It's not how war works. Can't start some shit and be mad at the response. The way that Iran is responding is, okay, you have military over here where you can drop bombs on our country directly. Obviously, we can't get over to your country, United States. Cool. But we can send missiles over to Israel. We can send missiles and drop airstrikes on your so-called partner countries where you have military bases, where you have huge interest in these other countries, whether it be Saudi Arabia, the UAE, all these different countries. We can respond in a way where it'll have a great impact, negative impact, on the countries that you have bases in and you have a high level of interest in. Well, it will negatively impact and affect a lot of your business, whether it's trade or whatever the case. And now these countries are crying, basically saying it's appalling. But this is how war works, you know? And they're not going to just allow America to bully them. All right? And that's important to note. That those days are over, man. All right? I'm going to get some scriptures real quick, but let me just play this last one here, and I'll get some quick precepts.
How long can Iran keep this up when you look at the military superiority of America and of Israel?
So the short answer is, as long as they want. I think the Western ideas with respect to what military pressure and even economic sanction and everything else can coerce a nation to do need to be tempered a little bit. And I just go back to the initial stages of the war in Ukraine and think, oh, we're going to bring Russia to its knees economically within Ukraine's going to, and nothing could be further from the truth. Same as here with Iran. You're not talking about an autocratic leader that led through cult of personality. You're talking about revolutionary institutions that were put in place as of 1979 with fervent belief that the Shia Islamic way of doing business here, from a fundamental point of view, is the way to propagate their beliefs across the region. That's not going away anytime soon. So the answer is, as long as those institutions maintain control and power over the opposition forces inside of Iran, there is no armed opposition force really inside of Iran. They can maintain this as long as they want.
All right, so there you have it. Because the question was,
how long can Iran keep this up when you look at the
question is, how long can Iran keep this up? And he said, for as long as they need to, right? Because, again, the mentality in Iran, due to the Ayatollah and the institutions that they have set up, and how they think about defending themselves, and how they have set up their military strategies, and how they think about war, you're not going to be able to just bully them. They won't allow it. Okay? They will not allow it. Let me get a couple precepts. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, and verse 28. And we brought this out at camp last week. Once we found out that America and Israel invaded Iran. All right, sent those strikes. 2nd Ezra 15 and 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof of the east. All right, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. Right, so these Iranians and their military, they're stronger than what people think. It says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as wild boars of the wood. All right, because those Carmanian represents those Iranians. Okay. And with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So you're not going to be able to just and it says, go forth as wild boars of the wood. The spirit that's on these Iranians, they have a spirit that's ready for war. Okay? They'll make the sacrifices necessary to defend themselves. All right? They shall come out with many chariots, and that's what we're seeing. That's the spirit of what we're hearing from these people. The lady asks him, how long can they keep this up? They basically say, as long as they need to. Okay? And this is why World War III is going to be absolutely catastrophic, because of how these nations are preparing. All right? That's why this lady's saying that their response is appalling, because they're seeing like, holy shit. They'll take it there. She didn't realize that Iran would take it there. And now she's shocked. Okay? But this all marks the end of Esau's rulership. This all marks the end of, this evil, wicked empire, this evil, wicked beast system. All right? Just got a couple other precepts to back up the point. All right? Let me go to Joel 3:9. Okay? Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the mighty men of war draw near. Okay? All these different nations, all these large, massive militaries, let them draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Right? Those plowshares, beat those plowshares into swords. Okay? Turn them farming instruments and tools into actual weapons. Okay? Weapons, massive weapons of mass destruction, so on and so forth. And your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Let these weak nations. Iran is like, listen, man, y'all want smoke? We got it. Let the weak say, I am strong. Okay? Because you thought you would be able to bully us, but you can't. Right? Is the United States military more massive, and in the Israeli military, the IDF forces, is more massive, it's more sophisticated, right? Advanced? Yeah. But you're going to have to come really with that shit in order to take us over. That's what they're saying. You're going to have to come with your full forces. All right? Bleach your plowshares into swords, your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. So, yeah, man, this is going to be full out war at some point, right? Full out war, because these nations, the Lord Yahawashi will put the spirit on these nations to not lay down. The United States aren't the only countries with nuclear weapons, and that's how it's all going to end. Okay? Thermonuclear destruction. Right? Because this marks the end of Esau's rulership. This is it. This new world order system will not be fully implemented. Job 14:5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. That whole new world order, the idea and the plans to take over the entire Middle East region. All right? The plans to have that global power back. All right? That's not going to take place, man. The plans to implement the mark of the beast system, you may be able to start it and implement it, but it won't have a lasting effect, because Yahawashi has something to say about that. Okay? Because he's coming to gather his elect. Right? And the Lord has appointed bounds that he cannot pass. He can't pass with the rulership that the Heavenly Father has set for you. It's not how that works. All right? I think that's it, man. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to mark that and make that point that Iran won't be bullied. Okay, that whole big bad bullying spirit is over. All right, and this is marking the end of Esau. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.